Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. As part of a big news today, we'll be discussing a very important moment in the Russia-Ukraine crisis with regards to how Poland has got involved because of a missile strike in its territory. So before we move into the subject matter, a very important announcement for you. You have a chance to get a scholarship from us under the National Scholarship Test, which will be conducted on 20th November 2022 at 11 a.m. and you can register yourself for this examination for free, and the link is given in the description below. So let us now discuss what is the subject matter here, which is the missile strike in Poland. 2 Polish citizens have been killed after a missile landed in eastern Poland, 15 miles away from a border city called Przewodo, which is near Ukraine. Now, if you look at it, it is an important moment in the Russia-Ukraine crisis because Poland is a NATO country. And as of right now, the preliminary reports were that the missile was a Russian-made missile. So the 2 deaths itself and Poland getting involved is a new high within the Russia-Ukraine crisis. And this is the first time that there are casualties outside Ukraine because of this crisis itself. And because the missile is Russia made, there's now a lot of speculation and a lot of escalation in this matter. But the most important aspect in this story is that Poland is a NATO country, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The point of the matter is Ukraine has always been in limbo, but Poland has a troubled history with Russia itself, and more than that, being a NATO country, it has a lot of implications at the world level. With the G20 happening in the background in Indonesia, what is going to happen is that now the G7 and the G20 nations, specifically the NATO countries, will come together to see how to respond to this crisis. So why are we discussing this? We're discussing it because these type of tactics have been used previously. Hitler used this tactic vis-a-vis Czechoslovakia, which is to create false escalations so as to intervene militarily. And getting Poland involved in this story is equally dangerous because Poland has a very troubled and checkered history with Russia. Hitler had actually decided to invade Poland. He had also gone into an understanding with Stalin. Stalin was going to invade from the eastern part and Hitler from the western part. Therefore, Poland has a troubled history with Russia vis-a-vis world history itself. That is the static portion. At the same point of time, NATO itself has a troubled history with USSR. It is in response to USSR nuclear test which happened in 1949 after the Berlin blockade itself. So this, though looks benign, has a lot of implications in the larger story of world history itself, and Przewodo is now on the map with regards to a major escalation point in the Russia-Ukraine crisis. So what are the implications and why is it so important for you? So as I said, Russia has a very checkered history, a very troubled history with Poland, because Poland had a very long struggle to come out of Russia itself. In the Russian Empire, Poles had a proper independence movement. They were only created after the Treaty of Versailles itself, and it's a massive and dangerous escalation because when Russia and Poland come together, it is a recipe for disaster. And because we don't know who fired it and the rocket has Russian made indications, means that it has to be from Russia. Now we need to see if Ukraine fired it or Russia fired it. And with regards to this, as soon as this report came through, in Indonesia where the G20 is happening, the G7 met and the NATO leaders met in the sidelines to discuss what to do. This escalation also gives us a very important opportunity to understand some articles of the NATO. NATO works with 2 basic principles, which is that an attack on a NATO country is an attack on everyone, and they have the concept of joint forces and joint response. Article 4 and Article 5 are 2 very important articles. Before we go into the nitty-gritty, Article 4 is the consultation article, that there has been a threat, let us discuss what to do. And Article 5 is that now we will take action. So as of right now, what we are seeing is that NATO is considering using Article 4 to consult, which is, it says member states will consult together whenever, in the opinion of one of them, the territorial integrity, political independence or security of another member is threatened. And this is what they're invoking with regards to Poland. It is a mechanism for NATO members to exchange views, information and discuss issues prior to reaching an agreement and taking action. It also gives NATO an active role in preventive diplomacy so that they can avoid a military escalation itself or military intervention. So as of right now, what we see is that now Poland has got involved in the Russia-Ukraine crisis. With this missile strike, NATO is consulting within itself what to do. But the bright light in this story is that there would be no need to invoke Article 5, which is that we will now go for action. And Article 5 has only been once invoked after 9/11, which is that the rocket which was used is S-300. which we see here, and Ukraine uses S-300 in its air defense system. So the coincidence here is that the S-300 landed in Poland the same day when Russia actually started a major massive missile attack on Ukraine. Therefore, it has now been dubbed as an accident while intercepting Russian missiles. So the starting point is important for us because we talk about NATO and the troubled history, that is a static portion. But as of right now, we are seeing that there is now a de-escalation with regards to the fact that Article 5 is not going to be used because S-300 is technically used by both Russia and Ukraine for air defense. S-400 is what we are asking from Russia. And as of right now, there is a little bit of de-escalation. So both Russia and Ukraine forces have used Russian-made munition during the conflict, including S-300, a surface-to-air missile system which Kiev deploys for its air defenses, and even Russia uses it. So before we end this topic, a very important recap for you. First is 2 people have been killed in Poland. First time Russia-Ukraine has spilled over into a NATO country. Being a NATO country, there's a lot of implications because NATO countries have a major mechanism to escalate it to the world level. Article 4 is the consultative article. Article 5 is the action article. Article 4 was used on the sidelines of the G20 summit itself, and they were discussing what to do with regards to this information. But on further investigation, what we see is that there is no need for Article 5 because S-300 rockets are used by Ukraine also and Russia also, and most probably, as the NATO is saying, it's unintentional, wherein the Ukrainians used this rocket to intercept a rocket coming from Russia, but it landed in Poland. So this is a new story in the unending saga of Ukraine and Russia, and let's see where this goes. As of right now, there is de-escalation, but anything can happen in this story. This is the problem with having NATO members just next to you, because NATO is a very dangerous body, because any attack on any member is an attack on all of them, and NATO's escalation or NATO's intervention till this point in Ukraine, Russia has been extremely staggered and extremely superficial, but this can change that. With this, I would like to end the session. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.